Hey, how's it going? This is Josh from Books by Josh, and I want to welcome you to episode 7 of the Books by Josh show. This episode is titled Defining My Own Company and Setting Goals for It. So, over the past couple of weeks, I've taken a step back and looked at my company as a whole and also at the parts of my company. This episode is me defining my business and setting goals for the future. If this isn't your cup of tea, I understand, but I'm still doing this episode anyway. Before I can define my company, let me explain why it's important to know what a company stands for. Basically, why the definition is important. So, a company's products are a result of the company's ideology and core values. You don't expect Burger King to sell computers because if they did, it would be the complete opposite of what they stood for as a company. This week's podcast episode seems weird to many listeners, especially since I didn't release an episode last week. Well, I've been sick with the flu, so got me thinking about the future of my company. Many listeners of this show might not know that there's more to me than this podcast. So that's another reason why I decided to do this episode. So let's dive in for this week's episode of the Books by Josh show. So, Kevin Smith has View Askew Productions as his main company, and Smile Call Entertainment is a branch of his company that handles the podcasting version, whereas View Askew is the whole production company. Okay? So, in my case, I have my own company, which is JR Solutions, and it has many different branches. Okay? All of the branches of my company are connected by one cause, our mission statement, which is to provide joy to people through the content that we create, through content creation. Okay? So the first branch of my company that I want to discuss is the podcast division. Because that's literally what we're doing right now, podcasting. Okay? So far, the podcast division has one show, which is the Books by Josh show. In the Books by Josh show, I simply talk about any topic that piques my interest. Okay? The way I set up this show is it's a real talk about me and any topic. Okay, it can be anything from the weather to technology to sit down and talk about my business just like this. Okay? My goal for my podcast division is to have another show live before the end of the year and for both of the shows to generate a minimum of 1,000 listeners per episode. Okay, it's definitely doable. So, let me just touch upon some of the things that go into the podcast division. So, to make each episode of the Books by Josh show, the way we do it is we write up the script, which is what I'm reading off right now, but none of this stuff right now I'm talking about is on the script because I go off topic on the script a lot. So, it's just an outline, okay? After that, we have to do multiple shoots to get the audio right, then post processing on the audio. Then we have to upload it to the Books by Josh site, which then feeds it to iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. And I also have to do a video version for YouTube. Okay? So, the podcast, an episode takes about, to write a script, let's say about 30 minutes to an hour. To shoot, about 30 minutes to an hour. Edit and stuff like that, upload another 45 minutes. So, you're looking at 3 hours for a 15-minute segment, guys. That's basically the podcast division, okay? So the next branch of my company that I want to talk about is the website division, okay? So as you may or may not know, we have the booksbyjosh.com site, okay? And this is one of the most important parts of the company because it links everything together. It's the hub, okay? Through the site, you can buy my own book. You can listen to podcast episodes. This uploads the podcast to all the sites that host it. Okay. It also has my YouTube videos linked there. It has my bio. It has so much in it. And on top of that, it has the blogging that I do. I do written blog posts on the site also. Okay, for the written blogs, what I mostly focus upon are different topics. They're mostly for entrepreneurship, such as reading books and reviewing them that are entrepreneur base, like biography, stuff of that nature. Also, I talk about philosophy in here, okay? And I talk about goal setting, stuff like this. It's very entrepreneur based, and the website does good. I don't run any ads on the website. It's completely provided by me. I don't like ads on websites. That's why. Okay. So the goal I have for my website is is for us to continue to produce quality written content on it, but at the same time increase our traffic. Okay, because the more traffic, that means the more people are reading. So the next branch of my company I want to discuss is the YouTube division. So this channel will start as a way for me to have little video clips of me summarizing my blog topics of the day or night, you know? But it's evolved into a platform to show my viewers my long walks I do, stuff like that. But it's about to evolve again because I want to focus that channel more on like a life coaching YouTube channel. You get what I'm saying? I've been told from many people that my advice is great on many different people, many different occasions, on many different subjects. So I want to bring that same advice to more people. And the best way to do that is through YouTube. Okay? So I'm not just going to bring the boring topics that we've heard 100 times. No. As you can see, the way I am, I like to throw my own flair into it. Okay? So with this, I want to create quality content. So I've been contacting people, since I've been sick and everything, to give me ideas for this. So one of the ideas I have that I'm going to do a video real soon about is, do you stay at a job that you hate and work on your something that you love part time, or do you just go all in on the thing that you love? The idea that you have to do. Okay, that's gonna be a topic. It's gonna be a really great video, guys. Okay, so I didn't mention how much work goes into blogs, look, because it's just me writing. Okay, the reviewing part, like if you read a book, stuff like that. Depends how big the book is, but to review is maybe an hour and a half. And most of blog posts takes 2 hours. Depends how much is in there and what I'm doing, because I usually multitask. Okay, and I can do my blog posts on my commute to work. Same thing with writing up a podcast script. Okay, I commute to work about 6 hours daily, to and from work. Mind you, I work shifts that are sometimes 10 hours. I'm working a 12-hour shift on Friday. So that's the whole thing. Doing a video takes a lot more than that because I have to make the script, which is about an hour to two, depending on what I'm doing. And also I have to shoot the content. Okay? So that's like another hour. I have to do editing, post-processing, all this stuff, uploading, and make sure everything's okay. So that's why it takes a little bit more work, guys. Okay? So I'm working on that. My goal for this division is by the end of the year is for us to be able to push out a blog summary like we used to do with every blog that post we do, even if it's just audio only attached to an image, and attach it to each one, and also to push out 2 quality videos a week. And for views, listen, a minimum of 50 views per video will be amazing right now. All right. Okay. The next branch of my company I want to discuss is the book division. Okay, currently we pushed out one title, Private Eye, The First Adventure of Jason Streak, as an ebook and a physical book. So my first goal is to get this title as an audiobook, but at the same time, we need to push out 2 more books by the end of the year. So far the books are Phone Call and Retirement Bloodbath. Which one comes first, we'll have to see, guys. But I can tell you from the manuscripts, these books are amazing. Even better than Private Eye, if I do say so myself. Okay? So, the whole thing about the book division is this requires the most work out of all the divisions because this is so much content. Talk about hundreds of pages of typing. Okay? and deleting and editing and stuff like that. So this takes the longest of everything so far I touched upon, okay? And it takes a couple months, all right? So it's not like I can say I'm going to write another book, and it'll be out tomorrow. No, it takes time, and I'm working on it right now as we speak, or as I speak, because I'm the only one talking. But, of course, the end goal is to sell more copies, guys. Because if I don't sell copies, we don't make money off that. Come on. Basic economics. So the final branch of my company that I want to touch upon today is our marketing division. Okay? Marketing. This is ads, stuff like that, social media, everything to do with marketing. Digital and physical marketing. Okay? And this is a very important part of the company because this is what drives sales. Okay? How are people going to know about my book if we don't advertise or get out there? So we got to put it into more physical bookstores, Talk about the smaller bookstores, not Barnes & Noble. We're on barnesandnoble.com right now. Still trying to get us in the store, okay? So these kind of things, the marketing for any company is going to be, you have to drive marketing, okay? So that's what my team we're working on now is building up a social media presence, stuff like that. Because all in all, that's going to help us in the future for the YouTube, for the podcast, for the blog, for the books, guys. Okay? This is not easy, all right? Running a business isn't that easy. So, those are the many branches that make up my company. I know many listeners right now are asking themselves, why the hell would Josh go into such details just for a podcast episode? Like, who will honestly tell you all the branches that make up their business? No one. One reason that I did it is because I got to set goals, for each division of my company. So it helps me hold myself and my team accountable. Another reason I went into such detail is because I want to show everyone how much work actually goes into everything. Think about it. If you thought, hey, maybe I could just record a podcast, that's great. If you could talk for 15, 20 minutes straight without needing a piece of paper, I talk a lot in real life, in here, everywhere, but I can only go for about 3 or 5 minutes without needing something to look onto. So you have to schedule stuff out. Things take time. So if you want to go into one of these fields, feel free to do it, okay? But that's why just look at all the stuff that goes into it. You need to market yourself. You need to get a market share, okay? Just, if you do a podcast, that's great, but if only one person listens to it, you got to evolve, man. You got to get more listeners, okay? Listen, other than these divisions, there's the back office. The back office is way more complicated, which I'm not going to get into now because that talks about the accounting, the legality, all the things that the banking, oh my God, the hosting, your website, domains, production, all this stuff will just blow your mind. And this will be like an hour-long talk of just me talk about that, all right? So, running a business isn't easy, all right? This is a podcast. I know you don't think it's a business, this and that. To me, it's a business. It's one of my livelihood because I put all these contents out. I'm a content creator, okay? My name is Josh. I create content on YouTube, my booksbyjosh.com, in bookstores, and on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. Okay, guys? So, that concludes this week's episode of the Books by Josh Show. If you have any questions or possible topics for our new life coaching series, feel free to email us at info@booksbyjosh.com. If you wish to support the channel, feel free to become a Patreon by visiting patreon.com/booksbyjosh. If you wish to follow us on Facebook, we can be found at facebook.com/booksbyjoshr. If you want to follow us on Twitter, our handle is @booksbyjosh. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to subscribe to the podcast or leave us a comment at booksbyjosh.com on this week's episode page. And if you want to add me on Snapchat, look up Books by Josh. So, like always, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.